My sister interrupted dinner, sneering.
We offered your boyfriend a fortune to leave you, and he took it. My mom laughed. You deserve better. But as my boyfriend stood up, he pulled out a recording that turned their smug smiles into panic. I, 27, female, never thought I'd end up in one of these stories, but here we are. It's been eating me alive for months, and now that things have finally blown up, I need to write it out. I'll start by saying I didn't grow up poor. My family isn't ultra-rich, but my parents have money. Like private schools, vacation homes, high-end clothes, and trust fund-type money. That kind of background. I've always been surrounded by money, and the people who act like they own the world because of it.
My mum, let's call her Clarice, 58 female, and my older sister Jenna, 30 female, are the kind of women who talk about charity like it's a performance, not kindness. Every family gathering feels like a networking event. Every compliment has a hidden insult. They're polished, mean, and manipulative, but everyone outside sees them as elegant or well-bred. I've always been the odd one out. I didn't want their lifestyle. I didn't like the people they surrounded themselves with. I didn't care about marrying a lawyer or stockbroker from some Ivy League family. I never fit in. I always felt like I was auditioning to be accepted, even at home. So when I fell in love with someone completely different from what they expected, I knew it was going to cause problems. I just didn't expect it to go this far. Liam, 28 male, my boyfriend, is the kindest man I've ever known. He comes from a blue-collar family in Pittsburgh, works in cybersecurity, and built his career from scratch. He's brilliant, patient, grounded, and he makes me feel safe. We met at a work conference and hit it off instantly. We were friends for months before we started dating. I trusted him in a way I never trusted anyone else. He'd always show up for me. He listens when I speak. He sees me. None of that mattered to my family. All they cared about was that he wasn't one of us. The first time he met my family, I could already feel them judging him. My mum smiled the way she does when she wants to look gracious in front of guests, but her eyes were cold. Jenna just stared at him like she was trying to figure out what exactly I saw in him. The dinner went okay. Liam was polite and funny and tried his best to keep things light, but my mum kept making snide little comments. Things like, "Oh, it's so refreshing to see someone who still believes hard work matters." Or, Liam laughed it off, but I could see the way he tightened his jaw. He was trying to be strong for me. Over the next few months, it got worse. Jenna sent me articles about marrying up and how financial compatibility is a big deal. My mum started inviting random sons of their friends to just by during brunches. Every time we had dinner together, Liam would walk away feeling humiliated. I started avoiding family events just to protect him. Then Jenna pulled me aside one day and said something that still makes my skin crawl. She said, "You're so much better than him, but you've never really believed it, have you?" I told her she was being cruel, and she just smiled and said, "You'll thank me later." Things came to a head when my parents invited us over for dinner at their estate in Connecticut. It was framed as a celebration. I asked what we were celebrating, and my mum just said, "Oh, just family. It's been too long." I should have known something was off, but Liam was the one who convinced me we should go. He said maybe they were trying, that maybe they wanted to get to know him. I didn't believe it, but I agreed. The night of the dinner, everything was fake. The smiles, the overly polite tone, the way Jenna kept looking at her phone like she was bored, then staring directly at Liam like he was some insect she couldn't wait to flick off the table. Dinner was served by their chef, of course. Expensive wine, small portions, white tablecloth, perfect lighting. It looked like a magazine photo, but it felt like a setup. We got through most of dinner with shallow conversation. Stocks, real estate, the usual. My dad talked about golf. My mum asked Liam if he had any family money he'd been thinking of investing. Liam, who had been silent for most of the meal, just smiled and said, "Nope, just the money I earned." That's when Jenna put down her fork and leaned forward. She looked right at me, like she'd been waiting all night to say this. "We offered your boyfriend a fortune to leave you," she said, smiling, "and he took it." I froze. I stared at her, then at Liam. My hands started shaking. My mum laughed. Not a polite chuckle, a full-on, smug, cruel laugh. She looked so proud of herself. "You deserve better, sweetheart," she said. "He was going to hold you back. We just gave him a little incentive." The air felt like it disappeared from the room. I was staring at Liam, trying to figure out if what I just heard was real. I didn't say anything. I just watched him. I didn't know what to feel. I felt sick, betrayed, empty. Liam slowly stood up from the table. No anger, no panic, just calm. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. He didn't say a word. He just opened a voice memo and hit play. And then the room changed. My mother's voice filled the dining room, crystal clear. "You walk away from her and disappear, and you get $50,000. No questions asked?" My sister, next. Her voice sharper, colder. "Let's be honest, Liam, you don't belong in our world. Take the money, start fresh. This is a win-win." Then my mum again. "She'll get over it. She always does. Just go." Then Liam's voice, low and steady. "I'd never hurt her, but thank you for showing me who you really are." Silence. No one moved. My mother's face went pale. Jenna dropped her fork. My dad was staring at the wall like he'd seen a ghost. Liam looked right at them and said, "So, remind me who took the money." No one answered. No one breathed. And I just sat there, realizing the people who raised me had no idea what love actually meant. Liam stood there with the phone still in his hand. The recording had stopped, but the damage was done. The room was dead silent, except for the soft clinking of silverware against porcelain plates as the chef cleared the table in the background, clearly trying to pretend he didn't hear a word. My mum finally spoke. Her voice wasn't smooth anymore. It cracked. "You recorded us." Liam nodded, calm as ever. "I figured one day you'd lie to her. I just didn't think it'd be this soon." Jenna jumped in then, her voice sharp like glass. "You think this little stunt makes you smart? You think it proves anything? It proves you're manipulative. It proves you were waiting for your moment." Liam didn't flinch. "No, it proves I was protecting her from you." I was still quiet. My mind was racing. I didn't know who to believe 5 minutes ago. And now I was just trying to piece together how far they had gone behind my back. Liam didn't even look at me yet. He was still focused on them, like he knew he couldn't look away or they'd try to twist this into something else. My dad finally cleared his throat, still not making eye contact with anyone. This could have been handled privately. Liam raised an eyebrow. "You invited us to a public ambush." I just turned on the lights. Then my mother's voice changed. That fake sweet tone she used with the board of directors or waiters she wanted to impress. "Let's all calm down. I'm sure there's been a misunderstanding. Let's not blow this out of proportion." That was the final straw. I stood up. "A misunderstanding? Are you actually trying to spin this? You tried to bribe my boyfriend to leave me, and when that didn't work, you told me he took the money anyway." Mum opened her mouth, but I kept going. "You tried to make me doubt him, to ruin us, and when that didn't work, you tried to humiliate him in front of me." Jenna scoffed, rolling her eyes. "God, you're so emotional. We were trying to help you. You always fall for losers. It was going to end badly either way." I turned to her. "You don't get to say that. You don't even know him." And then Liam finally spoke again, but this time to me. His voice was softer. "They offered me the money in private, twice. First time, I walked away. I didn't tell you because I thought it'd blow over. Second time, I recorded it. I knew they wouldn't stop. I should have told you, but I didn't want to cause more pain. I looked at him. He was telling the truth. I felt it in my chest. I felt it in my gut. I nodded. That's when my mum tried a different tactic. "I'm sorry," she said suddenly. "It was a mistake. We were scared. We want what's best for you. We thought he'd leave you eventually and hurt you. And we wanted to get ahead of it." Liam turned toward her slowly. "So you thought paying me off, lying about it, and humiliating her at dinner was what's best?" Jenna leaned back in her chair, eyes flashing. "You really think this recording matters? You know we can bury you. One email to your employer. One call to the right person." "I figured you might try that too." Jenna's smile faltered. He pressed play again. This time, it was Jenna's voice. Angry, nasty, whispering in a quiet room somewhere. "I don't care how you do it. Find something on him. Check his finances, his job history, anything. If he has a record, I want it. If he's cheated before, I want proof. I don't want him around by the end of the month." It sounded like she was on the phone. There was a pause. Then she added, "If I have to fake something, I will." I stared at her. She was pale. "Where the hell did you get that?" she hissed. Liam just said, "You might want to ask your friend Eric. He works in IT. Not very loyal, by the way." Jenna looked like she was going to throw something. My dad finally slammed his hand down on the table, standing up. "Enough, all of you. We are not going to tear this family apart over some boyfriend drama." Liam turned to him. "It's not drama. It's your wife and daughter actively trying to ruin your other daughter's life." Silence again. Then my mum said something I never thought I'd hear. "You're not even married. You're not family." That's when I realized the depth of what they really believed. Love didn't matter. Loyalty didn't matter. Only blood and names and money. Liam could have saved my life and still been disposable to them. But Liam didn't react. He just looked at me, finally, and I saw it. All of it. The old money, exclusive clubs, always. "Izzy," the message was one line. "Check your email. You should see what your mom and Jenna sent." I opened the email app, and that's when I saw it. They tried to cut me out of the family trust. The story wasn't over. It had only just started. I stared at the email, barely able to breathe. The subject line said it all. Reconcerning my name as future in the family trust. Or was sent from my mother's personal address, CC'd to Jenna, and forwarded to our grandfather, my mum's father, the real patriarch of our family. The man who built the family's wealth from scratch. He was old now, mid-80s, sharp as ever, and didn't tolerate lies. The body of the email made my hand shake. It said I was emotionally unstable, easily manipulated, and financially reckless under the influence of an unsuitable partner. It listed examples. None of them were true. They said I had been borrowing money from friends. Lie. Skipping work. Another lie. And displaying erratic behavior. Since dating Liam, they said I needed to be protected from herself, and that they recommended I'd be removed from the trust and placed on a controlled stipend until she regained stability. I read it twice before I could even process the words. They were trying to lock down my future, not just sabotage my relationship, not just humiliate me. They wanted to control me for the rest of my life. All while smiling to my face. I looked up from my phone. Liam saw my expression and stepped toward me. "What is it?" he asked. I showed him the screen. His jaw tightened. But before either of us could speak, my mum's phone buzzed. She checked it, then froze. A second later, Jenna's did the same. Then mine. It was from Grandpa. Just 2 words. "Call me. Now." My mum suddenly stood. "Excuse me," she muttered, trying to keep her composure, and walked out of the room like the walls were closing in. Jenna followed, a little slower, her face red and tight. Liam and I sat there in silence. 5 minutes passed, 10. Then my dad's phone rang. He answered it, didn't say a word, just listened for a full minute. Then he quietly left the room too. shoulders slumped, like he knew something had shifted, permanently. Liam and I sat at that table alone for almost half an hour. The chef brought in dessert like nothing had happened. Strawberry shortcake, artfully plated. We didn't touch it. Then finally, my mother came back. Her face was pale, her expression tight. She looked directly at me and said, "Your grandfather would like to speak with you." I nodded but didn't move. "I'll call him when I get home," I said flatly. That's when she dropped the next twist. "He's on his way here." I blinked. "What?" Jenna had returned too, standing stiff behind her. "He's flying in tonight. He wants to meet with all of us tomorrow morning." That didn't make sense. Grandpa hated drama. He hated travel, even more. He hadn't flown in almost 2 years. The fact that he was flying in person meant he didn't just suspect something was wrong. He knew, and someone must have told him something. I turned to Liam. He gave me a small nod, the kind that says, "Yeah, there's more. I just hasn't told you yet." So when we got back to my apartment that night, I asked him, and he told me everything. A month ago, after the first bribe attempt, he had reached out to Grandpa directly. Not for help, but for a conversation. They'd met in private, at a small Italian cafe outside Boston. Liam laid everything out, told him how much he loved me, told him what my family was doing, and told him he wasn't going to fight back dirty unless they escalated first. Grandpa had listened quietly, taken notes, said almost nothing. Then before leaving, he handed Liam a sealed envelope and said, "If they cross the line again, give her this." Liam had kept it in his desk drawer ever since. He handed it to me that night. It was a letter from Grandpa. It said, "I've made arrangements. If you're reading this, it means the people who are supposed to love and protect you have instead tried to control and harm you. The family trust does not belong to them. It belongs to the future, to those who understand what it means to stand up for something. This family has lost its soul, but you haven't. I've amended the trust." I sat down. Liam knelt in front of me. "There's more," he said. I looked at him, not sure I could handle more. He hesitated. "Your grandfather asked me to keep a copy of the legal amendment, in case he suddenly became unfit to manage his affairs." I was stunned. Why would he? And then it hit me. They were trying to declare Grandpa incompetent. The email to him wasn't just about me, it was a cover story. They were probably laying groundwork to make it look like he was the one slipping, that they were the responsible ones. That's why Jenna mentioned the trust at dinner so casually. They thought they'd already won. But Grandpa saw it coming, and Liam, he'd been holding all of it back, protecting the bomb until the right moment. Morning came like a storm front. Heavy, grey sky. Air thick with tension. Liam and I barely spoke over coffee. I wore a plain black sweater and jeans. No makeup, no jewelry. Felt like armor. Around 9:30 a.m., a sleek black sedan pulled into the long circular driveway of my parents' estate. Grandpa stepped out first, 86 cane in hand, but standing straight. His driver carried a slim briefcase and stayed close. Grandpa didn't look at anyone when he came in. His driver stood at the door. Liam and I sat on one side. My mom, Jenna, and my dad sat opposite. Not a single smile in the room. Grandpa opened a manila folder and pulled out a printout. He read aloud. As of March 14, a formal request was made to the trustees of the DeVoe Family Trust to reevaluate the mental competency of its founder, citing recent erratic decisions. He looked up. Care to explain, Clarice? My mother didn't blink. We were concerned. You've been making unusual choices, cutting off meetings, giving control to people who aren't experienced in family affairs. Jenna jumped in. We never said you were incompetent. We were just asking for clarification. Grandpa smirked. It was the coldest smile I'd ever seen. You never said it outright. That was smart. Cowardly, but smart. He tossed the paper down, then pulled out another. The email, the one they sent about me. He didn't read it aloud. He didn't have to. You lied about your own daughter.
to try and justify pushing her out of a trust meant to protect her, all to keep control of money that was never yours to begin with. Jenna's voice sharpened. She's being manipulated by him. Grandpa slammed his cane on the table. Loud, sudden. We all jumped. Enough. His voice shook the air. You tried to bury her. You tried to frame me. You insulted this young man who, by the way, had the decency to come speak to me face to face. Unlike you. My mom finally cracked. She's being emotional. She's always been emotional. She would have thanked us later, thank you. I said, voice low, for buying off the person I love, for trying to erase me from my own future. My mum's mouth opened, but no words came out. Grandpa leaned back. You forgot who I am. And you forgot what I built. This isn't just money. It's legacy. And legacy is about character, not reputation. Then he looked at me. You're the only one who hasn't changed depending on who's in the room. That's when he dropped the real bomb. Effective today, the trust will be divided. My legal counsel is already handling the paperwork. My name will receive direct access to her share, with full control. Clarice and Jenna, you are removed as co-advisors, permanently. Jenna stood up so fast, her chair fell back. You can't do that. I already did. She turned to me, face red, trembling. You ungrateful little snake. You let him do this. You set us up. I didn't have to, I said. You exposed yourselves. Then came the scream. A raw, feral sound from Jenna. She lunged toward Liam, not to hit him, to grab his phone. But the driver was quicker. He intercepted her mid-lunge, holding her wrists firmly. Not violent, just firm. She thrashed once, then stopped, breathing heavy. Her face wild. My mum didn't move. She just looked at the table, at nothing. My dad looked like he'd aged 10 years in 10 minutes. I didn't know about the trust thing, he said quietly. I swear to God, I didn't know. Grandpa sighed. That's your mistake. You've stopped paying attention. The room was still. Then Grandpa stood. I'll be staying in the guest wing tonight. In the morning, I'm heading back to Boston. I suggest the rest of you take time to think about what you've become. He looked at me one last time. Come walk with me, would you? We walked the garden path together. He didn't say much, just rested his hand on my shoulder once and said, Don't let them teach you to be small. When he went back inside, Liam and I left. Jenna didn't say goodbye, neither did my mother. Over the next few days, everything crumbled. Jenna's engagement fell apart. Her fiancé's family wanted nothing to do with the drama after the recordings leaked into the extended family circle. My mum's social group turned cold. My grandfather quietly pulled some strings to have her removed from 2 charity boards. And me? I was numb. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just breathed. Liam stayed close, but never pressured me. One night I asked him, Why didn't you tell me about any of it sooner? He said, Because I wanted you to leave them on your own terms. I didn't want to be the reason. The trust money came through within a few weeks. I didn't touch most of it. I started seeing a therapist. Not because I was broken, but because I wanted to learn how to set boundaries that should have existed long ago. Liam and I didn't move in together right away. We took our time. He supported me, and I supported him. He never made me feel like I owed him for any of it. I still hear from my dad now and then. Just small check-ins. Never from my mother. Jenna texted once. It said, Hope it was worth it. I didn't reply, because it wasn't about money. It was about the truth, about learning what family really means, about choosing myself after years of being taught not to. I lost a mother and a sister that day, that I gained freedom, and I'm not mourning them. Not anymore.